So, The Walking Dead's final season is coming up. We're now on season 11, part 2 of 3. We have the chance to watch the middle half of the final season next week, and you can stream it early this week on AMC Plus. Not sponsored, by the way. So, for you who still doesn't know what I'm talking about, The Walking Dead is a zombie apocalypse survival drama show on AMC, or maybe a zombie apocalypse survival guide. It could be. It's been aired for more than a decade now and it has mixed reviews. Some saw it as a top tier drama, one of the best, but some saw it as a failed opportunity. And when spoilers, but I know most of you already knew it, but the fans quitted when Glenn, the fan favorite, were removed from the show. Well, we can blame the writers, they're just taking inspiration from the comics. Yes, this zombie show is also from the comics. Also called The Walking Dead, it's created by Robert Kirkman and drawn by artists Tony Moore and Charlie Adlard. The comics came first as it started publishing in the beginning of 2003 up to 2019. The series on the TV show started in 2010 up to this year 2022. Well, the comics came to an end in 2019 with unexpected twist. The series will come to close later this year. Well, because it is inspired by the comics, the TV show didn't dive too much on recreating every single panel on its pages. Yeah, we still have the main character, the plot, but somehow over time the writers of the show changes little tiny bits and pieces so that the viewers would get a different experience, and especially the fans. Well, the fans could just read the comics first, then they'll know what will happen in the TV show, right? Making surprises, plot twists, and cliffhangers useless. But yeah, the writers did change things over time. For example, the addition of the Daryl character. Daryl wasn't supposed to exist, but he's there and he's cool. Still, they kept some things like the introduction of Negan, ripped straight out of the comics, the introduction of Rick, Michonne, Herschel's farm, and let's not forget the Glenn incident. But now it's the final season of the show, and the comics did end. Well, if you read the comics and watch the show and compare it side by side, with the amount of changes the writers made at the show, at this point we don't know exactly what will happen. And if you still haven't watched the show, I suggest to pause this video, put it on watch later, and then watch the series. I know honestly some episodes were kind of boring, but if you put all of it in consideration and just thought of this whole experience as I'm gonna watch The Walking Dead so I can be ready for a real zombie apocalypse event type of deal, then you may enjoy the series as it gives a simple overview on what the world and life would go with just an apocalypse. So with that, that's a long spoiler alert warning, and now here we go with the spoilers. So if you compare the comics and the series, in the comics, which I honestly haven't read fully and I just watched some summarized vids on YouTube, I believe that Negan was out of the gang, the heroes got into the Commonwealth, which is a large community that looks so superior and perfect. Michonne saw her kid there alive, that's why they got in. Some stuff happened. The villain is the Commonwealth's leader, Pamela Milton. Pamela's son killed our hero Rick, and Rick's son Carl survived, and somehow they end up taking over in a good way. The heroes got their peaceful lives and they worked. Time jump happens. Rick got a statue. Carl was all grown up. He's an old man. Even Maggie's son Herschel. And they seemed all okay as the walkers were diminishing over time. They look like they just restarted the life they left when the apocalypse happened. And in the end, Carl was reading the whole story to his daughter. Oh yeah, and Negan's still alive and well. While on the TV, it's so much different. At first, Negan is still with the gang. Yeah, they got into the Commonwealth without Michonne. The villain is still Pamela Milton. And she even got her brat son. But how are we gonna have a similar ending if Rick is missing and Carl's dead? It's kinda unexpected now. We don't know who will fill their roles. Yeah, we could think of an alternative, like maybe Daryl will be the one to be killed, like Rick, and Rick's daughter Judith will be the one who would have a child after the time jump. But with that said, I believe we still have a Walking Dead movie starred by Andrew Lincoln's Rick Grimes, and it's a trilogy. So with that long of an intro, here is what I think that could be the best ending for the whole The Walking Dead TV series and also the movies. So wouldn't it be fun if the final episode of the TV series ends up with a scene of the present time Judith, the Judith that is still a kid, hanging around at the gates of the Commonwealth at the top of a guard tower. Judith talking to Rosito, which is now one of the military guards. They're chatting about how his dad should see this place, only for them to hear some horses' footsteps from afar at the other side of the gate. The camera focuses on Rosita and Judith's face as the kid froze in shock while Rosita smiles and whispers, "It's about damn time." Then cut to the credits with an end credits of "Rick will return in the Walking Dead movie." So with that cliffhanger, we're gonna wait for Rick's The Walking Dead movie. Well, let's just say that the first movie is Rick being held in a weird campsite that's experimenting on walkers. Well, the camp is the last surviving walker experimenting camp, where they experiment on how to weaponize the walkers and mutating them. The first movie should be the story of the camp, how Rick ended up there, and Rick's plan to escape. The sequel should be about him barely escaping, and that's where he sees Michonne, also kidnapped by the soldiers. So now the sequel is about him rescuing Michonne and how they'll escape, but they saw it as an opportunity to burn the whole place down. The third movie should be about them saving every survivor and their big plan to shut down the place. And the ending, mostly the last 20 minutes of the whole trilogy, should be Rick, Michonne, and several survivors traveling to the Commonwealth as they heard the news about a large camp that seems perfectly safe. It should be the continuation of the TV series ending. Rick and Michonne saw Judith and Rosita at the top of the guard tower. They're now reunited. Let's just say that the hero that took Rick's place is either Daryl or Carol. So Rick would steal the statue of either the duo that saved the Commonwealth. And they're just reunited. A real happy ending for a decade of zombie drama. The title card appears, then the post-credit scene, where there was a huge time jump. All of them grew older. Maggie's son Herschel appears in a zombie mask, like a whisperer, but the mask is surely clean, while parading a walker, which is rare now. He was about to begin a circus show, while the walker he got was suddenly shot with a crossbow, similar to what Daryl is using. Camera focuses on a guy, could be Daryl or Carol's son, whichever survived, as he is the one who shot the walker. Herschel got furious about killing the walker, but is then halted by his mom, now an old lady Maggie. Maggie approaches from the side. She stated, "You should go get a real job, like delivering pizzas or something." Herschel stayed quiet, but upset as she removed his zombie mask, only for us viewers to find out that the actor that plays his grown-up son is still Steven Yeun, or his lover, Glenn. Just a little fan service. Screen goes to black, credits roll, and the end credits should be a grown-up Judith's voice saying, "And that's how her story happened." Well, the scene cuts back to her, reading a book to her son, all grown up now, named Carl. She says to her son that she gotta go now and drop off some food. We then see Judith packing up some spaghetti, bring it into a baseball field inside the Commonwealth. I think it'll be better if it's a long shot of Judith walking inside the field into the players. She sets up the packed food by the tables on the side, and she then walked to a coach. Judith then says, "Hey old man, I brought you spaghetti." Camera then swoops into the man's back. The man yells, "Alrighty folks, we practice again tomorrow. It's spaghetti time." Then the man turns around for us to see an old man Negan holding a baseball bat with a Lucille calligraphy. But there's no blood nor wires anymore, but instead a large crowd of kids run into him asking for spaghetti. He then rests his bat on his shoulders like he always do. He leans back, smiles into the camera and says, "Thanks, Jude." He then smiles and winks. The end. That's all. Please watch the TV series and the movie. It's awesome. Not sponsored, by the way. And yeah, see ya.